There's only a couple places in the world that you could actually get high grade uranium and high grade thorium, and the Star reactor was one of them, or Chernobyl actually. Um, anyway, though, this is after one of the fires, whatever. There's a lot of war, and I don't know exactly when. Wow, look at the devastation; it's huge. Um, Anyway, it's pretty big though. But basically, it's an air-cooled reactor, pretty much, and it produces, I believe, it produced thorium and uranium. Anyway, the point though is that the United States of America, or the United States, did not have one of these, so they had to buy. This was my complex, mine, and this was added actually later on. That's part of the containment thing. Anyway, this is a loading dock right here, where trucks could back up and go in, and they would pick up the produced material. It's basically a manufacturing site. So where I believe they would produce thorium and uranium or something like that. So basically, anybody who wanted to buy uranium or thorium would have to go to Chernobyl. To me, like I said, I had a lot of different things, a lot of different toys, a lot of different cities, like mech armor and like mech armor, and it's basically and all kinds of different stuff. Basically, what is the German Empire, pretty much, and we were really cool about it too. I mean, most people liked us or loved us. Well, I mean, for one thing, I'm the creator to humanity. For another thing, we were really cool. I mean, if you wanted to buy uranium or thorium, you could, if you were a large enough group or whatever. I mean, we weren't like restrictive or anything like that. If you were validated, you just had to be validated, or whatever, and not be wanting to create something psychotic. Um, Anyway, though, but we sold high end metal basically. Like I said, uranium and thorium are not naturally occurring. You can't mine them. You have to basically produce it, and I believe you start out with normal cheap lead, which you have to take. And by the way, and I had lots of lead mines too, so it's kind of how my lead. I was turning lead into very valuable stuff basically by by enriching it basically. Basically, you take lead and you turn it into uranium and thorium or something like that by rearranging the molecules or something like that. It's a complicated thing, and you'd have to talk to a nuclear physicist. But basically, you can turn lead into something that is priceless, or at least extremely valuable by most people's standards. Anyway, though, but it's a very dangerous, and you have to be very careful about it. And then you can turn lead, just cheap, normal everyday lead, into something that produces a lot of power or heat. And pretty much that's what we were doing at Chernobyl. You would have to you'd have to talk to a nuclear physicist and see. But basically, lead's the secret. The secret is the lead. You take lead and you can, I believe, rearrange the particles. I think it's kind of like maybe compressing lead or something like that. I think it's the equivalent of compressing lead or something. You take lead and you make it more dense. Lead is one of the most dense substances that is found on the planet, and you can take it and actually molecularly go and squish it together, and it makes less lead. But what you get is not actually lead anymore. It's actually something hard. So you're turning something soft into something hard. Anyway, it's this complicated process, and it's really cool. If I remember right, that's what we were doing. We were taking normal, cheap, everyday lead and making it into something hard by rearranging the molecules to make it. Anyway, whatever. At least I think so. I don't. I just have a basic. I'm just Lucifer Star. The Lucifer Star of the stars. of the White Star Mining and Shipping Company. Mining and shipping. I just was so proud to be mining and shipping. Like, I'd always wanted to be a mining and shipping company. So I finally got my dream and all that. Anyway, though, but we were taking lead and turning it into something valuable, and so yeah. Anyway, but we had lots of complicated complexes and all kinds of stuff. And at Chernobyl, it went dangerously, horribly wrong. I think this might be a cooling rack. I'm not exactly sure. I forget. I mean, there's schematics for everything. It's really sad because it had a really sad end. We were all so hopeful and proud, and we built all this stuff, and we were rich, and everything was fine, and everything was wonderful, and then, well, somebody with a gun, and they didn't have any money, so and they wanted what we had, I guess. Anyway, because it was very valuable. I mean, I was taking cheap lead and turning it into something really valuable and really powerful. Anyway, so whatever, that I'm pretty sure it was probably a terrorist group that hit them or something like that. I mean, we had Chernobyl, and I mean there were other sites, but nothing like Chernobyl. That was the star site, and it was a nuclear college or nuclear. It was my nuclear city basically. It was known for its nuclear energy. So anyway, and then lots of bad things. Lots of people got killed, whatever, and years later, hopes and dreams destroyed or whatever. Anyway, whatever. Things go bad sometimes. But anyway though, but yeah, you have to look it up in the history or whatever or whatever. I mean, there should be. Those are the people that work there, I guess. Yeah. They're like a board member, board people. They really didn't know anything about the site, I don't think. Anyways, back in the old days when things were going wrong and Nixon and JFK were riding on their horses or whatever. Out to make a name for themselves. Whatever. Anyway though, there was war and stuff like that, so anyway, yeah. I don't think it wasn't an accident. And it was they were taking lead and turning it into basically uranium. That was a secret too. For some reason, they're giving that a secret too. We were taking normal cheap lead and turning it into denser material, denser matter. So anyway, and that's something very valuable, and that's something that's being covered up. Is that we were taking lead and going and squishing it molecularly. Anyway, there's a process to it or a way to do it, and basically that's being covered up as well. Is all the capabilities that we used to have, to take lead and make it into a more dense matter, whatever. Anyway, we could do a lot of stuff back in the day, and I only had a basic. I used to understand it more, and personally, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I'm Lucifer Star. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, but it was a great time. Anyway, a lot of places experienced basically mass death. So, I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of people drove up to Chernobyl and just started shooting. So, and the person on the phone to the dispatcher actually says call it, have the police come. So obviously, like it was an attack or something like that. I don't really know. It's unfortunate though, and of course, but basically Nixon and America or I mean the United States didn't have nuclear weapons, didn't have any uranium enrichment sites. They tried to act like they did, but they didn't. Not until like 1980 or 1990 or something. I don't, or maybe never. Anyway, though, Chernobyl was my site. Why build 5 or 6 when you can just have one? So anyway, yeah, Lucifer Star site. That's why there's a star. Anyway, technically I'm a rich man. But then again, technically I'm a rich man anyway. 800 galaxies and a giant space clock that is the LS galaxies. 2 galaxies orbiting. So, anyway, whatever. Doesn't really matter anymore. But that's also why they have stars on the badges, America, all that good stuff. And Russia, too. Also some Chinese and other people. We're trying to get China or Japan up to whatever, I mean, I didn't want to keep it for myself. Anyone could find out how to do it. It's just that I was already doing it. So a lot of people were like, since you already have it, it's like, yeah, since I already have it, so most people came to us anyway because, they just wanted to be able to use it. It's like, yeah, money all day, ka-ching, 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 and they love to work with us or whatever because it's like, well, I had to build it for myself so other people could use it. So anyway, though, whatever, and now it looks like this. Anyway, though, I doubt it was an accident. So I don't know. Sad, really.